Everybody. Welcome back. You are in your final stretch of sixth grade. Can you believe that? You have 2 more weeks of work and then you're home free. You have like last week, after these 2 weeks, you have 1 week of I think just fun stuff online. I'm not sure how the virtual field day and that kind of thing is going to go down, but really just keep on going. You're doing a great job. I'm really proud of you for sticking to this, getting through it. It's been difficult, I know, and I appreciate your work and your effort that you're all doing. This is a big undertaking for all of you, so you should be proud of yourself. You're almost there, so let's just keep going, and we'll get through this together. And then you will be seventh grade. That's crazy. Anyway, first, just want to add a little picture of Brookle Plus for you. She's sassy as ever. She wanted to say hi. But this week in social studies, I'm going to review a little bit of Hinduism. That's what you were reading about last week. We're going to talk about it again this week, and then we're going to start Buddhism. I absolutely love this part of social studies, learning about these different cultures, the different beliefs. I just find it fascinating. I hope you're enjoying it too. I love how this year in social studies we learned about lots of different religions. So it's just so neat. I really do hope you enjoy it and it's not just something that you're like, ugh, social studies. So anyway, let's go over some of the things we learned last week, and then we'll review it all, and I'll kind of give you some heads up of what's coming for this week and next week. So when we're starting to learn about this new, the origins of Hinduism, on one of the very first pages, it shows us this caste system, and this should look familiar to you. We learned about this when we were talking about ancient Egypt. You guys did those cool pictures that you made. Actually, I still think they're hanging in the hallway since we haven't been back, where you had to pick to be a caste, somewhere in that caste system, and then draw yourself as one. So here's the caste system for India on page 479. If you remember, when we were talking about the ancient Egypt caste system, the pharaoh was at the top, then you had the nobles. There were the next level down were scribes and craft people, like people doing like different craft work. And then you had on the bottom level for the ancient Egypt, you had farmers, servants, and slaves. So it kind of goes along with this caste system that we're looking at right now. At the top, the Brahmins, there were the India's priests and people, the highest Varna. Then there are the rulers and the nobles. So you see, and then the craftspeople again, the servants again. So it's very similar to the way that ancient Egypt was set up. But if you caught this, I thought it was kind of crazy. In the caste system for India, they even had, if you look down in the third paragraph on page 479, they had a caste that was even lower than the fourth class, the fourth caste. It was the untouchables. I mean, geez, that sounds really harsh. Untouchables. They're even lower than the bottom caste, and they had like jobs that no one wanted. I just think that sounds horrible. But anyway, the doorbell rang, and it was Lizzie Baker. Lizzie, say hi. See, we have a special guest. All right, just kidding. Okay, back to social studies. The caste rules, if you look closely at the caste rules, once you're in a caste, you're pretty much locked into that caste. You're not supposed to be marrying outside of the caste, interacting with many people from other castes, so it's pretty strict. And if you're an untouchable, well, forget about it. It's pretty harsh. A lot of information on this, these 2 pages as well. At the top, you'll see there's 3 different Hindu gods. or goddesses represented at the top of the page. Also, in your notes, like if in your weekly notes from last week, I mentioned if you're interested in those Percy Jackson type books, there is a series set around different Hindu gods, and I've read the first two, and I was gonna read part of it to you guys in class to get you interested in it, but we're not in class, so I can't do that. But the Ru Shah and the End of Time, and it was really good. So if you're interested in those type of books and you want to learn more about Hindu gods and goddesses, it's a great series to read. But anyway, there are many gods and goddesses, and don't get confused that when we're talking about Brahman, that is the universal spirit, Brahman, and Brahma, if you look on page 480, is one of the is a god. So he's not like the god. They don't have one god like we have our one true God, but they have many gods, and Brahma is one of them. But Brahmin with an at the end is like the universal spirit, and that's what they believe, that you have many lives, you're reincarnated, and you want to have good karma, so you work up to this point where you live your absolute best life, and then you will be one with the universal spirit Brahman. That is your goal. So that's different from Brahma, just to keep that keep those two separate. Okay. Last set of pages for this introduction to Hinduism have to do with Hinduism in women, and then Jains. It's Jainism. That is a group that is separate from Hinduism. They have some different beliefs, and you can read about that. And then the work for this week that you're going to actually have to turn in, I'll have a video that introduces Buddhism. So once you're done looking at this Hinduism, I'll have a video for Buddhism that you'll watch. But before you do that, I would like you to answer those blue reading check questions at the end of like different sections. So you can just put that into OneNote and answer those. They don't have to be in complete sentences. Just write your answers, and then I'll just check that off. So so that will be on Hinduism. Let me just go over some of the. This is something we would have done in class if we had more time. So I'll just show you my copy. It just has some general, some of the general information that I wanted to make sure we covered about Hinduism. Paper we would have gone over together, just filling in the blanks and kind of summarizing what we've learned so far. So I'm just going to read through it pretty quickly, because I know you can read it as well because it's on your screen. Hinduism does not have a particular origin. It's a combination of different beliefs and practices that began about 4,000 years ago. The sacred texts, Vedas, those are sacred works of Hindu religious literature, and the Upanishads, that contains Hindu beliefs. Polytheistic, that's the belief of more than one god. I think that is definitely something, that's a vocabulary word you've already known before. Here are just some pictures of some of their gods for you. Let me shift my screen. There we go. And I'm going to add this week into a just a video for you to watch. You don't have to write anything about it, but it just talks about probably there's many gods and goddesses in the Hindu for Hinduism, but it just goes over 10 of the gods and goddesses very quickly. So you can watch that video just for your enjoyment. Hopefully you'll find it interesting. I definitely find it's very interesting to me, I think. Okay. Also, here's another vocabulary for you. Vocabulary word, reincarnation. It's the rebirth of the soul, and it continues until a person reaches spiritual perfection. the cycle of rebirth is determined by your karma, and what happens to a person is a result for their previous actions. So karma, sometimes when something bad happens, someone will be like, oh, that's karma, like their karma is gonna get them or whatever. You could have good karma. Like if you do something really good out of the kindness of your heart, that would be considered good karma. People usually associate that with a bad thing, but it's not. It's good or bad. Okay, the beliefs of Hinduism are connected to the caste system, which we've talked about. And here is another little diagram. So we have Dharma. Here's some vocabulary words down here below. It says Dharma, correct actions for one's class. It helps achieve karma. So you have to act the way you're supposed to within your class so that you can have good karma. Nonviolence requires the believer to protect humans, animals, insects, even plants. I'm not sure how you say it. Ahimsa. Ahimsa. Sorry about that. And moksha, that the release from the pain and suffering of rebirth and becoming one with the universal spirit. Only Brahmins can achieve this, because remember, if you can see, let me scoot this down, the caste system, the Brahmins are at the very top, and to get to that perfection of your soul, to become with Brahman, become one with the universal spirit, you have to be at that level to reach that. So if you are an untouchable, you can't just jump all the way to reaching that, like the universal spirit. You have to work your way up through the caste system, through reincarnation. So again, your good karma is going to have to come into play to hopefully bump you up. Also, if you look here, a sacred cow, it says cows are considered holy and may not be slaughtered. I read this book about, I don't know, a year ago, and it was really interesting. It was about cows in India. It was pretty fascinating, actually. So hopefully you are enjoying learning about Hinduism. This is definitely not all there is to know about it. We could spend so much time learning about it. I wish we could. That's why I like giving you some videos, because they give you lots of information, good visuals. I think you can get more out of those sometimes than just reading from a textbook. So I'm going to have one video this week for you on just some of the Hindu gods and goddesses, and then one video that's going to introduce you to Buddhism as well. So I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're doing well. I miss you guys so much. But keep plugging away. You're doing great. You're almost there. And hopefully you're enjoying it too. But we can do this. We will do this. I miss you. Okay. Have fun this week. Enjoy learning about different cultural beliefs. It's so cool. Okay. Bye.